Well, hello everybody. We're gonna fix some dinner. And this is gonna be a good old country southern dish. First of all, I got some yams. I'm just gonna open that can of yams. And you might say, well, that's a lot for me. Well, yeah, it is, but this is gonna be like supper for the next couple of nights. Not just tonight. And yes, I do keep the juice. I'm simply going to add a little bit of brown sugar. A couple of tablespoons of brown sugar. I'm going to add a couple of tablespoons of butter. That's what I like about a stick of butter. It has it measured for you already. All you got to do is cut it off. Now, that's got my potatoes, so I'm going to get those over here cooking. Whoops. If I remember to turn the right burner on. And we're just going to cook them a little bit until the water is boiled down a tiny bit. Because they're already cooked. Oh, let's see. Do you want to go out? You don't need to. Come here, I'm going to let you out this door. Cat's got so he scratches on the door when he wants to go out. He'll come in, want to eat, and then he wants to go right back out. But he always scratches on the door now. I'm going to fry a couple of pieces of bacon in this pan right here. And that's what I'm going to cook my Swiss chard in. But I wanted to get the bacon grease and the bacon, because I'll crumble up the bacon later and put it in the Swiss chard. And you know, Swiss chard is what I've got growing in my yard that grows so good. I mean, it'll wilt down, but if you try to keep water to it, it will keep growing. And I always slice my bacon sheets or strips in half, because I find they manage better in the pan when they're cooking if they're cut. Now I'm still eating my breakfast burritos. That's been my breakfast until I get tired of them, and then I'll freeze what's left, I guess. But they're pretty good, so it takes a while to ever get tired of them. One of my viewers asked me, well, how much do you spend on groceries? And it's not as much as you think. Because like I said, when I do these cooking videos, I make several meals out of it, or I freeze it and make my own TV dinners so I don't have to cook some nights. So that means that my food bill is not that high. And I try to buy once a month, buy the stuff I'm out of, if I have the money to get it that month. Like these months that my electric bill has been so high, I don't know if I'm going to be buying too many groceries. Put that on there. And I've got a Boston butt pork chop over here that I'm going to cook. It's the cheaper cut, but I tell you what, it eats just as good as the other one. And I'm just going to leave it whole. I'm going to season it with some steak seasoning, because it's got black pepper, it's got it's got garlic, it's got all kind of seasoning that you put on your steak, so it's good for your pork chop as well. And I know I didn't get that pan very hot, but that's okay. Get that going. Whew, tell you, sweating like crazy in the house with the AC running like crazy. But this is dinner tonight. And probably tomorrow night. And you know, you could cut that in half. In fact, I may go ahead and do that. It's not much in even leaving it whole, but I mean, you could if you were extra hungry. Because that makes a good 2 servings right there, that meat does. Yeah, I might not make a cooking video every day because I can't afford it. You know, once my freezer's full, which it is right now, there's not much room to freeze any more food, so whatever I cook, I've got to eat in a couple of days. Get this cut through. And I had a viewer also ask me, where in the world did you buy 10 pounds of chicken quarters for less than $5? Well, I don't know where you live, but our Walmart out here has them every day for that. It's the cheaper cut of chicken. the dark meat. Seemed like a lot of people want to spend the extra money and get the white meat, you know, the breast, which is expensive. I mean, I priced 2 chicken breasts when I bought that last bag of chicken quarters. They wanted $7.50 for 2 chicken breasts, and I bought 10 pounds of chicken for less than $5. So I put those chicken breasts back. I wasn't about to pay that kind of price. And to me, the chicken breasts are too dry anyway. I mean, I do like to eat them, but it seems like the dark meat has more flavor. Get my bacon out of here. Whew. Now, I've already, and I wanted to show you, Swiss chard has a kind of a tough stem. So what I do is turn it over on the back. I fold it in half like this. I reach up about halfway the leaf, and with my fingers, I hold the rest of the leaf, and then I just cut the stem right out. And see, that leaves me the leaf with that thick part of the stem out of it. I'm going to go ahead and cut it up. Woo! Grease is popping. Because I did already rinse that Swiss chard. So it'll pop for a minute till I get enough. And Swiss chard is similar to a spinach, only it doesn't cook down as quite as fine as a spinach does. That's one reason I like it, I guess. But it's just as healthy for you. Turn that back on now. Got a whole bowl of this to cut up in here. Yeah, I spared you the washing of the kale. I mean the cabbage, not the cabbage, but the Swiss chard. And I don't really have a whole lot of Swiss chard planted out there, but every time I want to go out and get a mess of Swiss chard to cook, I've always got it there. I mean, I cut this back, and by the time I want more, it's going to grow back. The leaves will. So it's kind of the gift that keeps on giving. Yeah, but I mean, I try to keep my food budget down because, like I said, I live on a retirement check that's not that much. And to pay my bills, I can't spend a lot on food. That's one reason I wanted a garden. I mean, just what greens I've got right here, if you buy them at the store, it would cost you $4 or $5 for just enough for this pan full. And I've been harvesting this stuff all summer. And it will tolerate the heat as long as you keep water to it. And it's best if you plant it in partial shade, especially in the hottest time of the day, to have shade on it. Now I just made a mess on my stove. Dripped it all down it. Oh well. Can be wiped up. We got it all down the front of my stove. Woo. Now let's see. Covering the lid on that. And I thought I had some splatter strings. I don't know where they're at. Oh well. I can do without one. Now I'm going to turn that kind of down. I don't want it on too high heat because it will burn. We'll put just a little bit of water in there. And I really don't need the lid on that right now, because I want that water to boil off. And I like my pork chops kind of crispy. My old splatter string has a lot to be desired, but and I've got another new one, but this one will do. You can tell it's been used quite a bit. But it'll definitely keep you from splattering all that grease in your face and burning yourself. Woo. Like I told that lady, sometimes I spend, depends on how low I am on stuff. I may spend anywhere from $130 or less a month on groceries. Now that's actual groceries. I have allergy pills to buy, and they run about $20 a month. I buy stuff like low-dose Bear aspirin that I take every day. You know, that costs a couple of dollars. I buy vitamins. I buy cholesterol, which helps, you know, aid in keeping my cholesterol down. And that's usually $16, $17 for the month. So I probably spend a good $50 on vitamins, medications, allergy pills, maybe washing, laundry detergent, fabric softener, dish soap, that kind of thing. But I try to keep my grocery bill down as low as possible, and that's why I do freeze a lot of stuff. Like I said, this is going to make several meals for me this week. And I'm not going to freeze this. I'm not going to freeze my yams. I'm not going to freeze my pork chop. I'm not going to freeze my greens. I'm going to eat them. But it will take me several days. This is not just one meal. Just like my breakfast burritos. That's breakfast burritos for at least 5 or 6 days for me. Maybe even more, depending on if I eat 1 or 2 of them. Depends on how hungry I am when I get up and get my coffee. So, you know, I'm not wasting food when I cook it. I eat every bit of it. I can't afford to waste it. Like I said, I don't have the kind of income that I can waste it. That's one reason I got on here and I started showing people how I live, because, I mean, this is my daily routine, you know. I'm going to go ahead and keep boiling the water out of those. And remember, we added a couple of tablespoons of brown sugar. We added 2 tablespoons of butter. And they're going to be good to go as soon as I get the water cooked down. Now get my greens cooked. I think the greens take the longest. And the ideal thing with this is to fix you some cornbread. I'm not going to fool with making cornbread. I hardly ever eat bread with my meals anymore. And if I do, usually it's the sausage and milk gravy poured over a biscuit. In fact, I've got a couple of rolls in there left now from where I made rolls the other evening, and I'll probably in the morning, instead of going with the same breakfast burrito, I'll skip a morning. I might make me some milk gravy and sausage and put it on that biscuit or that roll, and that'll be my breakfast in the morning. And then I'll continue on with my breakfast burritos other mornings. But you know, with these prices, I mean, it's outrageous, the prices on food, especially red meat. I mean, any meat for that matter. I was just looking at prices on some of the meat, because I thought about getting some stew meat and making a pot of stew, which I haven't made in a long time. But oh my God, it's outrageous. I said, I'm not spending that much on stew beef. And then I got to looking at some other stuff, and they had a small roast, $5 off the price, and it was still almost $13. So I didn't get that either. I bought my bag of 10 pounds of chicken quarters for less than $5. because I knew I already had some pork chops and stuff in the freezer that I bought at a good price. And see, that's another thing you can do. Wait till some of the stores lower their prices or they have a special sale. Drive the extra mile and go to that other store and buy it for a lower price. That's what I do. That's the only way I can afford to eat the way I do. And next month, having to pay this electric bill, I may not even be buying groceries. I'm going to have to depend on what's in my freezer. And I know there's a lot of people out there in the same predicament that I am. There's just no money. All the prices are going up. The food prices are going up. But unfortunately, your wages are not going anywhere. Turn that down a little bit because I don't want them to burn, but I do want them to still brown a little bit more. I think I want that one to cook a little bit more. And I don't remember how much I paid for the Boston butt pork chops, which they were a lower price, but they were in a great big package. And I took one of the big ones and separated the pack and made individual packages so I would only take one out at a time. And you see that it makes two big pieces. So, and I know I've got at least 2 more packages up there. But if you'll cut those tough stems out of your Swiss chard, it cooks a lot faster. Because those tough stems, unless you cook them in a pressure pot, stay tough forever. I'm going to go ahead and get this one out. Don't want it to... And that's some of the best pieces right there. Woo! Let that pan cool down. Now, you're probably not going to believe what I'm fixing to do now. I'm simply gonna take my greens, pour them right in there. Right in there where I cooked my pork chop. And you might say, oh, gross, but oh no, it's not. We're gonna cook some of that grease, that water down. Put the screen on top. It's just like the potatoes. We want some of the water to cook out of them. Turn it up on a relatively high heat. But the combination of that bacon grease and a little bit of pork grease that came out of those pork chops, plus the browning, plus the seasoning, is going to give a really good taste to those Swiss chard greens. And you don't have to season it anymore. You don't have to salt it. You don't have to put pepper in it. It's already seasoned. By the time we get the water cooked out of these greens and the water cooked out of those potatoes, they'll be ready to eat basically. And you notice I've only put the screen on because I want the water to cook out. I want it to evaporate. I don't want the lid to hold it in. The same way with the potatoes. I want that liquid to cook out. I want it to evaporate. And it does it a lot faster than you think. Gives those Boston butt chops time to cool down. And like I said, that is a cheaper cut of pork chop, but oh, I'm telling you what, the flavor is just as good as a regular thick pork chop. And these were fairly thick Boston butt ones too, so. And with the sugar that's in the potatoes, you may have to stir them quite a bit. And don't worry about them falling apart. That's what you want them to do. In fact, they may be done enough to do what's coming next. And I'm just going to take a regular old potato masher. Leave those potatoes in the pot and just mash them up. prefer to do it, you can use a hand mixer, any type of electric mixer you have to beat these up. They're basically going to be almost like a candy, what do you call it? Well, they're candied sweet potatoes, but they're like in a mashed potato form. They're all creamed up. And all we added was a little bit of butter. And a couple of tablespoons of brown sugar. And I think they're done. And I don't want all that grease in there, so or all that water left in them. And you can kind of drain more of the juice out once you get them in the bowl. Don't want to dump them in the bowl, but now I'm going to put my bacon in there. My bacon is all. And if you don't have bacon, don't worry about it. You don't even have to put bacon in there. I like to, if I have it. If I don't have it, I don't use it. See how cramped I am in this kitchen. But I'm just gonna mix up my bacon right in my greens. Most of the time I don't even put bacon in there. Sorry, my allergies are. I went out there a little while ago and I harvested my Swiss chard and I didn't have my mask on. So I've been coughing since. Good. There y'all go. A Southern pork chop dinner. Now, how easy was that? All we need now is some cornbread, maybe some cornbread fritters, and you got it made. And look at there at those candy yams. Y'all have a bite. Mmm. Those were so good, y'all. And those greens. Well, if I can get it up on the fork. The greens with that little bit of bacon and a little bit of seasoning from the pork chop. That's going to be so good. Y'all, open up. Mm-hmm. Oh, my God. And that pork chop. That's the best pork chop you'll ever have. And with that, please like, share, and subscribe to my videos. And thanks for hanging out with me this evening. I'm going to enjoy this dinner. Y'all to try it. It's good. Bye now. See you on my next one.